My name is Irma Wani Othman from Universiti Malaysia Sabah. This paper established a discussion on the stability of the political environment of the country of origin in catalyzing the motives of expatriation, perspectives of international academics at the Public University of Malaysia. The political issue of the country is among the motives that causes expatriate academics to independently decide to expatriate, that is, choosing to get out of the unstable and polarized political situation. The migration of scholars from the political instability caused by the country's education system has not been able to provide appropriate career development, especially from the compensation system, financial and non-financial benefits. The stable political situation in the host country is a major attraction for expatriate academics to independently make the decision to migrate in pursuing a better career. The objective of the study is to see whether the motive of the political environment plays an important role before the decision to make expatriates can be made by independent expatriate academics. The results of the study can be obtained through the use of qualitative methods through intrinsic case study on 40 independent expatriate academics in 4 Malaysian public universities who were involved voluntarily to be interviewed using semi-structured interview methods. The motive of the political environment is one of the main issues discussed by the respondents, which can be seen through 2 sub-themes, namely the political instability of the country of origin and political stability in the host country. The independent expatriate academics' justification of expatriating stems from their dissatisfaction with the country's political scenario. The assumption that if they continue to be in their home country, then it is difficult for them to achieve success as an academic. Therefore, the search for answers on political changes that lead to instability and inhibit the development of national policies, the country's academic scholars will tend to migrate to a more stable country. The new findings of the study found that for expatriate academics to be independent in their career development depends on the education system in the country in which they live in. Through the different spectrum, the motive of the expatriate's arrival to a country becomes the concern of the university's management to find out the advantages and disadvantages that become the pulling and pushing factor of their arrival. Among them are considerations on cultural and adventure factors, career development opportunities, national economic stability, expatriate relationships with friends in the host country, religious life, and the political environment of the host country. All the elements highlighted will take into account the extent to which the final decision for the migration is able to provide reciprocity that benefits expatriates during their stay in the host country. In the context of the discussion of this paper, the focus is on the motives of expatriate arrivals and their survival with the polarization of the country's political scenario. The question of this study tried to solve is whether the political environment of a country is able to be an attractive factor or can inhibit the goals of higher education of a country with the desire of expatriates who refuse to build a career on the basis of political instability of the country. The perspective of expatriate academics in Malaysia public universities is considered vital because they have had the experience of expatriate in person, where the proof of the decisions made before coming to Malaysia is an interesting issue to share. A qualitative approach that utilized in-depth techniques involved a total of 30 international staff working as academics at 4 public universities. The respondents consisted of expatriate academics who underwent independent expatriation but were not on sabbatical leave or had the status of staff exchange between universities. Sampling techniques were intended to be implemented in this study with the aim of identifying respondents who chose Malaysian public universities based on the stability of the country's political environment. The location of the case study was classified based on the highest total number of expatriates currently serving in public universities for a period exceeding 1 year and less than 10 years. A set of semi-structured interview protocols was developed to obtain empirical data on the motives of the political environment in playing a vital role before expatriation results were achieved by independent expatriates. Interview data that was done through an inductive analysis process in which a set of respondent dialogues by transcript of the audio recordings of the interviews obtained were categorized thematically. The findings of the interview found that the scenario of volatile political unrest in a country is one of the main motives that caused the independent expatriate academics to decide to expatriate to a country with political stability. The categorization of themes showed the two dominant factors of the political environment motives presented by the respondents as the first one, the political environment of the host country, and the second, the political environment of the country of origin. The unstable political environment of the country of origin is considered a factor that pushes academics to migrate abroad. Similarly, a healthy political environment and a good reputation of the host country are considered attractive factors in the implementation of decisions in the selection of expatriate destinations. The polarization of a country's political climate further invites negative speculation regarding peace and security, which is the basis of decision-making to choose the right country for expatriate to build their careers. Rationally, unhealthy political scenarios tend to cause turmoil in the country when the implementation of national public policy is more in favor of the interests of political leaders than the welfare and economic development of the country. Political problems not only fuel speculation but also become a major reason for independent expatriates from putting their career development at unexpected risk. National political stability and motivation of expatriation. The decision-making process to undergo expatriation is certainly different between one expatriate to the other. When the passage of time and the needs of individuals become the determinants of expatriate decisions, the main thing to consider is the safety and well-being of expatriates while holding office in a country. Although basically the main motive of the independent academics diaspora to accept a position in a foreign university is to gain benefits in terms of experience, finance, and career development, but the political environment of a country is also considered an important game. The political scenario refers to two situations where political stability in the host country and political instability in the country of origin. The political environment of the host country. The first scenario involving political stability in the host country refers to features such as internal security, sustainability of community peacefulness, and political stability of the homeland. These characteristics are the choice of expatriates who want to develop their careers without any elements that can threaten the smooth process in the pursuit of their own goals. This is seen as a factor in catalyzing the migration of independent expatriates to a destination outside their home country. First, characteristics of Malaysia, which has high tolerance and always prioritizes harmony regardless of the political beliefs held. The political environment of the host country, which gives an indication of stability in a country, has received positive views from a total of 23 respondents involved. They unanimously agreed that Malaysia was a destination for host countries that had succeeded in attracting expatriates to migrate on their confidence in the reputation of peace and political stability. Among the statements issued by Respondent 2 specify in the characteristics of Malaysia, which is famous for its multiracial society which has high tolerance and always prioritizes harmony regardless of the political beliefs held. Second, harmony exists in Malaysia, can live together without any racial strife and hostility. Most said that the harmony that exists in Malaysia with the diversity of races can live together in a situation without any racial strife and hostility that leads to political division has made him attracted to what Malaysia has. Third, political stability exists without any problems, can threaten their own safety, feel confident to continue living in country. The statements given by respondents have proven that political stability in Malaysia has convinced themselves that the decisions made in choosing Malaysia as a destination country to pursue a career as an academic is the right choice. With the political stability that exists without any problems that can threaten their own safety is enough to make them feel confident to continue living in this country. Fourth, a stable political environment is reflected in the lifespan of a government represented by a political party. Although, Malaysia has experienced recent political crises and shifts. There is evidence that shows the integrity of the leadership of some political figures who have long led this country with full dedication. Malaysia's rule as a parliamentary democracy is supported by the federal constitution, which protects the well-being of the country and the people, making Malaysia respected in the eyes of the world. Fifth, the motive of the political environment needs to be considered before a decision is made. Based on the experience of respondents who have previously come to Malaysia as a tourist and that became the backbone to choose to build a career in this country. Examined the situation of chosen country's political stability, and this was done to avoid making decisions that would cause any problems in the future. Sixth, added the importance of the value, views and opinions from various parties, pursue a career in the host country. It is very relevant for expatriates who are married and have dependent children. Similarly, the decision made must consider the well-being of the family left behind in the country of origin, especially parents who are always worried about the safety of their children while abroad. Seventh, taking into consideration all aspects that involves consideration of profit factors, salary and fringe benefits. Through the decisions made, majority respondents could not escape taking into consideration all aspects that involves consideration of profit factors such as salary and fringe benefits from the job obtained. The balance of elements such as an environment conducive to living a good life as well as the welfare of family members becomes an expatriate priority. 8. Gave a rationale for the diversity of motives that need to be considered, make decision for expatriates. In general, the discussion of the above results refers to the decision-making made by expatriates that have differences between one expatriate to another. Decision-making is also associated with change according to individual needs and the passage of time. But surely, every motive expressed by the respondents has similarities where the political scenario in a country plays a vital role in encouraging independent expatriates to decide to go abroad. The political environment of the country of origin. While the second scenario is related to the pushing factor, which refers to situations that force expatriates to flee from the situation in their own country of origin with the intention of obtaining the benefits offered by foreign countries. First, personal and family safety was placed as a priority in life despite having to migrate to another country. The scenario of political instability involving civil war as the main reason to flee to another country. Using a high educational background and the required field of expertise at many overseas universities has made choosing a career destination easy. Meanwhile, respondent also felt that personal and family safety was placed as a priority in life despite having to migrate to another country. Second, chaotic political scenario that affects the country's economic growth. There are respondents imagined the anxiety of losing employment daily. Governments that often change where the leadership is based on the power of political parties see no freedom to be academic. The concept of academic democracy is no longer ignored by the government. The situation became more critical when the country was taken over by the military. The military system changed the country under the power of tyranny. This explained the statement by respondents, the chaotic political scenario that affects the country's economic growth. Third, political instability threatens the element of democratization of education, which in turn disregards the right to fundamental freedoms. The factor that political instability threatens the element of democratization of education, which in turn disregards the right to fundamental freedoms. Integrity among higher education educators is also scratched by restrictions on the spread of knowledge that is considered to have an element of incitement to university students. Taking a safe approach, some respondents determined to get out of the political environment of his home country. Fourth, political instability that has a negative impact on the higher education system in a country. Among the issues that are often highlighted are political instability that has a negative impact on the higher education system in a country. Apart from escaping from the political turmoil of the country, a large number of respondents felt that the disappointment of the fate that befell the people of their country and felt they needed to succeed brilliantly abroad to justify the situation. The statement mixed with patriotism is a reflection of the subconscious mind that covers the guilt of expatriates leaving their hometowns that are in turmoil with various problems. Fifth, voiced out that based on personal experiences referring to the continuation of political instability in the home country. An insecure life with riots, fights, demonstrations, protests, and to the encroachment on human rights, security has caused respondent to feel that future is uncertain if respondent continues to live in the country. Sixth, situation of the country of origin which had negative implications as a result of the long-term effects of the volatile political unrest. Few respondents felt the country's economic growth system was stagnant, while social activities were disrupted due to protracted wars and riots. This has a direct impact on the welfare and well-being of the people and decides to get out of the crisis. Seventh, political instability due to the war reflected the image of an insecure country and did not have the potential for any form of economic investment. The situation also caused foreign investors to lose interest in investing in the country. As a result of the lack of complete facilities and infrastructure, economic activity slowed down. Thus, supplies to the services sector, especially education, is declining due to the lack of infrastructure resources provided. 8. The issue of corruption to politics, which was seen as the cause of the abuse of power by political figures for personal gain. Respondents also refer to an anti-corruption body that will not help the country if it did not play its role efficiently in eradicating corruption. Statistics from several countries showed that countries with high levels of corruption stem from failure to comply with the rules and regulations convicted of corruption. 9th. Phenomenon of corruption in the country that uses socialist law. The pattern of administration of a country that is too loose is said to result in poor government performance on the rules and legislation of corruption crimes. The situation is said to be a contributor to the increase in the corruption rate, which brought an impact to government change. 10th. The experience refers to a country whose people profess Christianity Protestantism, a country under British rule. A country that adopted British law and practiced democracy had shown how the united government fighting against corruption crimes, which had finally succeeded in recording low corruption rates. This shows how the political environment is an attractive factor in decision-making for expatriates on the selection of country destinations to build their careers. The essence of the discussion of this paper revolves around the motives of expatriate among expatriate academics of Malaysian public universities caused by the instability of the political environment of their country of origin. Among the issues raised are more directed to the life experience that had to be faced, which involves fear, anxiety, and concern for the safety of self and family. The endless political turmoil also has a profound impact on the career development of academics. Migration abroad is seen as the best solution and is a career development construction site that promises more positive results. Malaysia is said to be the top destination of choice due to several factors. The direction of future research can explore the elements of instability of the political environment in a country and its impact on the higher education system. Prominent issues such as civil war, racial riots, protests, strikes, pickets and changes in the ruling party can be studied in more detail as a pushing factor among academics abroad. The negative impact of the failure of the education system in a country, which refers to the infrastructure of higher education, caused unhealthy political environment that ultimately crippled the entire economy of the country. The results of this study are expected to be utilized by various parties, especially to the country's public policy makers, parties involved in the governance and management of the university, prospective expatriate academics and scholars in the field of expatriate management. Thank you.